You're awesome. She is a serial entrepreneur. She's a journalist turned entrepreneur. And she also identifies, as a Chinese woman, really innovating in the hardware space and bridging the ecosystem of the US and China. Just tell me about Elemoon. What is it? What are we wearing? Yeah.
Sure. So Elemoon is the world's first smart jewelry. It's actually, Ying-Ying and I are wearing one today. It changes color to match your outfit. You can design your own pattern. It tells you time, like, all the smartwatch, what you need for a smartwatch, right? And also tracks your steps, alert you with important calls and text messages. And we pack so much hardware into this beautiful, elegant bracelet. So once you get it, you can constantly upgrading your app, and we'll keep unlocking new features. What we are building, essentially, we call it the Apple company, the next Apple company in the form of jewelry. Yeah, so hardware, software, services, data, but only in jewelry.
Tell me about your aha moment. So when we talked before, you said,
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, so I always have this vision to make technology more emotional, because most women will come to me and say, I don't get technology. Technology is code. Technology makes me stupid. But I feel like it's the mistake, it's the fault of tech products. So my whole startup career is all about making emotional tech experience for women. And when I first started, I started with software. When I was in China, we built a Tamagotchi, like a digital pet elephant, to allow young women to communicate and gift each other in a more dynamic way. But then when we had a lot of downloads of that digital pet, but women came to me and said, can you marry this app with a plush toy or something that I can use daily? That's the first aha moment I had, is women want more. Women are very sensual animals. We want to build something tactile. We want to touch it, feel it, smell it. And that's when it's in the middle of 2013, and when all the wearable tech start to take off. And my team just did a casual tour around the Apple store in New York. And I was looking at this whole wall of rubber bands and very generic, unappealing smartwatches. And I was like, I grew up in China. I see a lot of copycats. But why I am now in the mecca of the world's innovation, and people just come up with something that looks exactly like each other and have exactly the same feature: step tracking, health, fitness, and honestly, phone can do much better job than a rubber bands on your wrist. And why technology are dumbing down our understanding of beauty and aesthetics. Technology should enhance everything, should make beautiful things more beautiful, fun things more fun. So I had the idea of marrying our app with smart jewelry, and really, really connect with, we start with women, because I feel like women is an underserved community in tech, but women drives more sales. There are so many studies, about 60–70% of digital goods and non-digital goods are driven by, are purchased or made decision by women. So the power of purse. But then there's a gap between beautiful and meaningful products and the consumer who has the power and the demand to buy.
So let's talk a little bit about your vision for the company.
Okay.
Yeah, you've talked specifically about launching retail spaces and having those be kind of an Apple experience merged with pop culture. What does that mean?
Well, so I'm a big fan of Apple, and also Dr. Dre beats, even though it cut my fingers multiple times with the headsets. So I think for the first time, Apple, Steve Jobs, were able to show the whole world the commercial value and the emotional value of design. And Dr. Drew Beats, sold to Apple at $3 billion, really able to show people the cool factor of a brand, how much commercial value that can bring if your brand is cool and engaging and embraced by young people. And, their whole pop culture marketing strategy is just blow everything up. So I think for Elemoon, we have the mission of bridging technology, art, design, pop culture to a whole new level. Tonight, when people come to our launch, and we have the fortune to work with iconic retail legend, Ron Robinson, and his flagship store is in Santa Monica, and we'll be able to showcase how we can build this extremely visceral experience around essentially a gadget, right? And just makes your heart tingle. So people will see it tonight. And yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I talked too much.
No, this is great. So speaking of bridging different worlds, you're, like I mentioned before, journalist turned serial entrepreneur. You're a proven entrepreneur. And also, this is a direct quote from you. You said, it's great to have your Chinese cultural background and to have your ambition to build something in the West. But for the longest time, I felt like I get stuck in this bicultural terminal. What I'm trying to do is essentially...
With Christine Lu.
I'm trying to bridge the best of two worlds, the creative of the US and the mass market in China. I feel like a lot of people are trying to do that, but there's a lot of things that can be done better. What do you mean?
Yeah, I feel like there's just too much talk and talk. Oh, we want access to the China market. We want to access to the manufacturing capability. We really want to navigate the really complicated, confusing consumer market, and also the business culture. And by the way, I grew up in China, and I completed my undergrad degree in China, and I worked in Shanghai in contemporary art business for 4 years, and then I came here, got my master's degree in journalism because I'm essentially just curious about the world. And my editor actually once told me, if you are just into writing, journalism is not a fun job for you. But if you're interested in learning, this is really the best job you can have in the world. And I feel like startup is like that too. Like I said, because you asked me, do I come from Shenzhen? And I said, well, I had the idea of starting Elemoon in 2013, and then that was actually my first time back to Shenzhen when I was an adult. So for the last 2 years, I pretty much spent about 12, 14 months in Chinese factories working with 17 different vendors directly, and I was very much the tiger mom on the factory floor, and actually the only woman. And really trying to get things done, right? Because I feel like there's a long way to go in terms of IP integrity, manufacturing competence in China. And, but machines are all the same. You have the same machine in Germany, in New York, in China, but it's really the people who are making the big difference. You can have the same assembly line churning out rubber bands, but you can have the same assembly line, have a real quality jewelry that's all stainless steel, plated with pure gold and sterling silver. And we actually, in order to pack so much technology in this bangle, we build everything ourselves, from screws, from the curved battery, which has more capability than Samsung Galaxy Watch. We have a 4-layer circuitry film, and also tons of sensors and motion chips inside. And we gave China the biggest challenge, which is solving new problem. This is really the first time, fine jewelry and high-end electronics are merging at such a mass scale in China. So
thank you so much. So to join the party tonight, just a quick pitch, what time should we wait for buses outside?
Oh, okay. So we made everything easy. It's all about user experience, right? We rented 2 shuttle buses. It's gonna wait for everyone. 4:45, and we're just transporting everyone from Pasadena to Santa Monica, and then after the show, the shuttle comes back to Pasadena. So the show is from 6 to 8, and we'll have a lot of movers and shakers in Hollywood. Owner of Variety, European chairman for News Corp, and writer for Sex and City, if the women here are interested. A lot of movers and shakers, and I really feel like this is also very in line with the mission of Silicon Dragon. How do we bridge the best of the 2 worlds? We'll have the mafia group on the east side, the Pasadena China crowd. So the mafia group with a quotation mark. Yeah, so people will. It's really hard for me just to tell. I think it's just time for us to show. So I really look forward to seeing you guys tonight. Thank you.